friends, family, and distinguished guests, and welcome to the Women and Gender Studies Graduation. My name is Kristen Soares. I am an assistant professor in the Department of Women and Gender Studies, and today I have the distinct honor of being your master of ceremony. We have what we hope is a warm and meaningful ceremony planned for you on this snowy day. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce the chair of our Department of Women and Gender Studies, Professor Lorraine Bayard-DeBolo.
As chair, I welcome you to Women and Gender Studies Graduation. CU had one of the very first women's studies programs in the country, indeed the world. And given the energy I feel in this room, our majors and minors and our certificate recipients are justifiably proud to be part of this intellectual tradition. Women and Gender Studies is an academic discipline, but our origins are tied to a social movement, rooted originally in women's rights and feminism, but now incorporating an even more comprehensive vision of rights that extend to gender identity, sexuality, race, ability, and beyond. We wouldn't be here without social activism. Our 2019 graduates are an amazing representation of the Women and Gender Studies commitment to justice and change. And if you'll bear with me, I'd like to brag just a bit more about the degrees that we are conferring today because these students have so much to be proud of. Women and Gender Studies students are committed to academia and service to the community. And our majors consistently have been recipients of the highest and most select undergraduate honors given in the College of Arts and Sciences for academic excellence as well as their extracurricular and volunteer pursuits. The average GPA for Women and Gender Studies majors is substantially higher than the average for the college. Women and Gender Studies majors are clearly excelling across their courses at CU, and our Women and Gender Studies minors are equally impressive. Many of our students obtain these high GPAs while pursuing additional majors and minors or other courses outside their specific interest in Women and Gender Studies. And roughly 2/3 of Women and Gender Studies majors have a double major, not to mention their paid work and volunteer pursuits as they set their sights on social change, both large and small. Students with a Women and Gender Studies major or minor from CU Boulder graduate with highly desirable skills in critical thinking and creative and complex problem solving, collaboration, and communication, with a local and global outlook, with plenty to say to a changing world. Thank you.
Thank you, Lorraine. So the University of Colorado Boulder became home to one of the country's first women's studies programs in the early spring of 1974. Amidst the early activism of the second wave, its formation resulted from the timeless commitment and enthusiasm of both students and faculty. In fall 2014, we celebrated the 40th anniversary of this founding. Over the years, it has grown and transformed in small and big ways. In 1989, the program found a permanent home in Cottage 1, an old women's dormitory built in 1884, where it has remained ever since. Now officially Hazel Gates Woodruff Cottage, it is still fondly referred to as the Cottage. Hopefully some of you were able to visit earlier today. In the 1980s, students could focus on women's studies under the American Studies program, but it wasn't until 1998 that the program was granted its own independent nature, in no small part due to the diligent activism of both students and of faculty. Not long afterwards, we added a graduate certificate program. In 2006, the Women's Studies program became the Women and Gender Studies program, reflecting the evolution of a program that goes far beyond the traditional conceptualizations of women's issues to address a broader understanding of gender and the way that it intersects with race, ethnicity, nationality, sexuality, class, and ability. Finally, in 2015, the program officially became the Department of Women and Gender Studies. This history, we believe, attests to the tenacity of Women and Gender Studies as a field on this and other campuses nationally and indeed globally. Today I'm honored to be here with you not only as a professor in the Department of Women and Gender Studies, but also as a graduate. Some of you may know that prior to joining the faculty at CU Boulder last spring, I actually completed a graduate certificate in the then program in Women and Gender Studies about a decade prior. In my time as a graduate student in this department, I was able to experience the breadth of scholarship performed by our faculty. From learning about masculinities on the US-Mexico border in courses taught by Dr. Robert Buffington, to being trained as a Latin American feminist trained by Dr. Lorraine Bayard-DeVolo, to grappling with the ethics of conducting feminist research under the guidance of Dr. Celeste Montoya. All of these experiences have shaped the scholar and the teacher that I am today, allowing me now to return to my alma mater and offer courses like Women of Color and Activism and Latinx Studies. So students, I am of course biased, but I also know because I'm a graduate. And I strongly believe that the department you are graduating from today is one of the best departments of gender studies in the country. And I know that it may sound immodest, but I truly believe that the education you have received and that I so long ago received equips you to be the executive directors of NGOs, the founders of nonprofits, the creators of community art spaces, the superintendents of school districts, and, if I may be so bold, our future presidents. Like me, are first-generation college students. I know that many of you have, at great cost to yourselves and to your families, sacrificed to earn the degree that will be bestowed upon you today. I know that for many of you, pursuing a degree in women and gender studies is not just an academic journey, but in fact a call to service, a calling to work to make this world what we want it to be. And I stand here before you as a first-generation college student, as a queer Latina, as a graduate of this department, and now as a professor in it, to tell you that it was worth it. You are brilliant, you are well-equipped, and you are going to move mountains. And we're so honored to be here to bestow these diplomas upon you today. We have 3 student speakers who exemplify the unique voice and perspectives that our students bring to the program, to the campus, and now to the world. Please get ready to be moved by these veritable forces of nature. First up is Jackson Reinagel.
So you're probably wondering why I gathered you all here today. If you're not, then you must not know who I am, and that's okay. We all play different characters in each other's lives, and really all that matters is when you show up and where and how, because that's really all you can control. So the conversation that we've been practicing for all the years, 15 or whatever years I've been working on this degree. Well, older than I look, gender is a crazy thing. It's not real, and neither is whiteness, and that's what we have to talk about. So we're holding, me and my little, I started Theta Pi chapter here. It's from Santa Cruz. It's the whole thing. It's gender-neutral Greek order. It's family. It's amazing. It's part of what makes Boulder special. It needed to be here. Like, I needed to be here. I've never had so much privilege and safety, and that's because of all the people around me and all the support that I've built that make this possible. And it's all about recognizing like that I didn't and couldn't have gotten here by myself, and what I want to do next couldn't happen without these networks. And so I want to run for Boulder City Council, and I want to buy a bed and breakfast, and I want to change the world. And I think that all the people in this room today have helped given me the tools to make that possible. And I'm looking around and not forgetting the speech that I didn't write, because all of you give me the hope and know like that it's possible. So we're holding a workshop at 3:30 in the biggest lecture hall in humanities at 3:30 today. Please come if you can. Bring your families, bring your friends. Yeah, I want to broadcast it. It's a conversation that needs to happen everywhere, and it's starting here at Boulder. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Casey McAndrew.
coming out on this snowy afternoon, to celebrate with us as we get ready to move on to the next chapter of our lives. Webster's Dictionary defines a woman as... Just kidding. All that tuition money only to start a speech like that? Your parents would kill me. I'll try to stay away from cliches, so let me tell you a story instead. A couple weeks ago, I got in a Lyft to come back from the airport. The driver and I were talking, and I told him I was a student. He asked me what I studied. I told him I study women and gender studies. When I explained to him what that means, and kind of that it means that I study feminist theory, he rolled his eyes and said, "Oh, great, just what this world needs, more feminists." I didn't say anything, and I just kind of smiled. And him realizing that he had made a mistake, he laughed awkwardly and said, "Well, there goes my tip." When he dropped me off, I thanked him for the ride, and the Lyft asked me if I wanted to tip him. So I tipped him 20% with a note that said, "Whether you want more of us or not, the good thing about feminists is that we usually tip well." So here's the thing that I've learned being a women and gender studies major. People who judge us for our major are the same people who probably don't realize that there's a difference between gender, sex, and sexuality. Something that's drilled into our heads every syllabus week for like the past 12 billion semesters. So let's do a quick poll. Graduates and faculty, raise your hand if you know the difference between sex and gender. Raise it high so that people can see. Great. Now, folks in the audience, raise your hand if you know the difference between sex and gender. All right, graduates. So, actually, if you raise your hand before, keep them up. Perfect. Graduates, look around. I'm sure some of your family members didn't raise their hand. But I'm sure that if they're here today, they love you a whole hell of a lot. And they want to be let into your world. So whether you're going to the reception later, let them into it. Tell them what you spent all this money getting a degree in women and gender studies for. At least you know the difference between sex and gender. But before I go any further, I need to confess something. I wasn't always a women and gender studies major. I started out as an MCDB major, which is molecular, cellular, and developmental biology. Then I realized that sucked, and I switched to IPI, which is integrative physiology. And then eventually I realized that sucked. But in between that period, I didn't take my first women and gender studies class until I was a sophomore. Because I thought, I'm already a feminist, what else is there to know? Luckily for me, and like many other good decisions in my life, I listened to my mother and decided to take a class called Femininities, Masculinities, and Alternatives. 5 weeks later, as I was sitting in a lecture about bestiality, I realized that there's a lot more to learn. My point is, all of our experiences are different. Mine was lucky enough to be defined by love. Whether it's my grandfather sending me recorded VHS tapes of SpongeBob to watch when I lived overseas, or my grandma getting a bouquet of flowers tattooed for my cousins and I, or my other grandpa Bubby teaching me how to play poker when I was 7, or my other grandma Fuji saving every single drawing that I have ever made, which is a lot. Or, as I'd like to point out, my conservative family who came all the way to the People's Republic of Boulder to a women and gender studies commencement. Lucky to have a life filled with love, and I try to put it back into this world. And one of the coolest things about humans is that we have an amazing capacity for empathy, even if our experiences are different. And what I've learned from my time as a women and gender studies major is the power of community, and the intense, unlimited power of a community of feminists. So ladies and gents and non-binary friends, we are a group of world changers. With the knowledge we've gained over the past 4 years, we can go out into the world and make it a better place. We've seen a lot of crazy stuff in our time at CU. The world seems more and more hateful, and we're just getting angrier at each other. In a time when there is so much anger, meet it with love. Now, as a feminist, I know one of our favorite things is unsolicited advice, so let me give you some. Embrace being wrong. Just because we're graduating today doesn't mean we stop learning. Talk to people you disagree with. Listen to them. Be kind. Always tip your Lyft drivers. And when someone asks you what you're going to do with that degree, tell them you're going to change the world, because you are. And congratulations, class of 2019. I'm honored to be surrounded by so many world changers.
Jamie Ramsey.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? When I was preparing to write this speech, my professor and mentor, Rob Buffington, said to me, just speak from your heart and personal experience. So here it goes. If you don't like this speech, please take it up with him. If I'm being honest, college has gone nothing like I expected. I had this idea of who I was, what I wanted, and how I'd impact the world. Time and time again, though, since coming to college, I've been confronted with the reality that if you make assumptions, things never go as planned. You've got to run with what shows up. My biggest awakening to that was when I was diagnosed with epilepsy my sophomore year. For those of you who don't know, epilepsy is a seizure disorder that embodies itself differently in everyone. I went a year undiagnosed after my first episode. I had seizures in class, in grocery stores, in parking lots, and around roommates who thought I was faking it for attention. I felt disappointed and misunderstood, as I expect many others feel when they are dealing with problems unseen by others. Thankfully now, I can proudly say I'm over 2 years seizure-free. It took a long time to get here, and a huge shift in attitude and perspective. The Women and Gender Studies department, my family, my peers, and living with a disability shaped who I am. Before randomly taking an intro to LGBT studies class, I didn't even know Women and Gender Studies was a department. It was by chance or maybe fate that I ended up here. I was shocked by how many of my conceptualizations of gender, sex, sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, class, disability, and even my feminism were whitewashed and heteronormative. I learned just how hugely problematic that was. Even though growing up, I had what I would consider a progressive education and community, it didn't go deep enough. You see, I think there's a fear. A fear of questioning beliefs, of being embarrassed by lacking awareness or getting it wrong, of being judged and being blamed for injustices committed presently or historically, institutionally or systemically by ourselves or others. This relationship to failure needs to change. Because without failure, there can be no innovation. What this department holds me accountable to is confronting that fear. Also, thinking critically, questioning everything, and taking action. This department, like Casey, has also shown me the power of community. Before that LGBT studies class, I'd only kind of come out to my mom. We were on the back porch in the summer sun, just musing about what my college experience would be like after my high school graduation. I said nervously, but trying to act casually, what if I dated women in college? My mom looked at me and coolly replied, "You're glad you found something else to like." She said this as if I had just told her I want to take up a hobby like pottery or swing dancing. What I know from statistics, readings, and what I've heard from my friends and peers is that my experience of coming out is unfortunately and unjustly atypical. Watching my classmates support each other in their identities has shown me the power of community. Showing up in solidarity can be complex though, especially when acknowledging the multiplicity of people's identities. Identity politics can be characterized as alliances and social categorization that can pull people apart. But that's certainly not all there is. In combination with an intersectional lens, there is potential for understanding inequality, fostering community, and bringing about social justice. To make that work, it takes radical vulnerability that can create circumstances for failure, misunderstanding, and disappointment. As I continuously shape my relationship to epilepsy, I found that vulnerability can be a valuable tool in making unknown pain and struggle points of possibility. I didn't know I'd fall in love or out of love. I didn't know that friendships cycle between comfort and discomfort repeatedly. That I'd lose my dad to MS this semester. I didn't know I could feel so much at once. My point is, nothing is permanent. Things are as you make them out to be. So what's my advice, class of 2019? Yield into discomfort. Learn from your successes and failures, and find your unexplored potential. With a learner's mindset, you will understand that simultaneously, you can try to be prepared for anything, but in actuality, be prepared for nothing. Things will happen in your life that will defy every expectation you have. So roll with it and defy all of your expectations. Thanks. Congrats.
Thank you, Jackson, Casey, and Jamie, for your speeches and for your many contributions to the Women and Gender Studies program, department, and CU Boulder campus. So how about we give out some awards? What do you think? All right. The Department of Women and Gender Studies has several scholarships and awards, and we are thrilled now to announce the recipients who were selected from a pool of exceptional candidates. Full descriptions of each award are found in your programs. Handing out the awards is Professor Robert Wyrot. I'll ask that all the students today come up on this side of the stage to my right, your left, and when we announce your award or degree, and exit on that side of the stage. The first award is the Lucille Berkeley Buchanan Scholarship. This scholarship honors Lucille Berkeley Buchanan, the first Black woman graduate of the University of Colorado, who graduated in 1918 with a degree in German. Though, because of her race and her gender, Lucille was not allowed to accept her diploma on stage or to be included in the yearbook that year, we honor today her remarkable contribution to CU's history and to this department. The Lucille Berkeley Buchanan Scholarship is awarded to a student who demonstrates a commitment towards social justice and who may be the first generation in their family to attend college. This year's recipient is Madison Borman. And is active in the Black Women's Alliance volunteer work and is a 3-time Dean's List honoree. As a student athlete on the University of Colorado's cross-country team, Madison recounted in her application her process of grappling with a difficult decision, whether or not to take the knee during the national anthem of an NCAA championship race. During a wave of such protests sparked by Colin Kaepernick's action. In her application, Madison writes, quote, "I knew that I would be alone in my vulnerable kneeling position, but I also knew what I could be representing and participating in. A large social activist movement in efforts to aid minorities in society," end quote. She did decide to take a knee and found support from her teammates and competitors alike. I'd like to think, Madison says, I'd like to think that my seemingly small action of kneeling impacted the movement it represented, even in the smallest way. But if not, it impacted a smaller group of me and the other Black women who also stood on the line before the race. Congratulations, Madison, on your activism and your achievements. Bosque Scholarship, given in honor of the first woman justice to the Colorado Supreme Court. Jean was unable to join us today, but we appreciate her long-standing involvement and support of our department. This award is given to a Women and Gender Studies major and is based on academic record, education and career goals, community and campus service, and a demonstrated commitment to raising awareness of and combating, in all forms, oppression. This year's award goes to Rebekah Brown. Rebekah is a Women and Gender Studies major with a minor in sociology. She was on the Dean's List last fall and is working toward a career in policymaking, the nonprofit arena, and public health. She's proudly involved in philanthropic efforts as a member of Alpha Chi Omega and has volunteered at the Safe House Progressive Alliance for Nonviolence. leading fundraising events there. She also worked as an intern at Moving to End Sexual Assault. Congratulations, Rebekah. Finally, we have the Andrew Mark Chigonia Scholarship. This award is given to a women and gender studies major in acknowledgement of the two women for whom the award is named, in the spirit of compassion, understanding, social justice, and academic pursuit. The award this year goes to Jessica Chavez. Jessica was unfortunately unable to be here today, but the committee was impressed by the combination of academic and social justice commitments in Jessica's application. She is a student in the Invest Community Studies program. She's also currently involved in Transformative Teach, an organization that takes a curriculum-based approach to prevent the perpetuation of the school-to-prison pipeline. We look forward to hearing more about the achievements of these scholarship recipients as they complete their studies at CU. And now next up is the Women and Gender Studies Excellence in Inclusion Award. This award recognizes outstanding student projects that explore issues pertaining to diversity and inclusion at CU Boulder, or in the U.S. more generally. It is designed to help foster an inclusive and welcoming campus for historically underrepresented groups in the field of education. Students from across the campus are invited to submit research or creative works for consideration by a committee made up of faculty, staff, and the students from our department. This year's award goes to Haley Takahashi. Haley is a senior graduating with a BFA in art practices, and the award is given to them for their art piece, This Land is Soaked in Blood. Because Haley is participating in a graduation, Haley could not be here today. But I do want to say that we were very impressed with Haley's piece, which was a stunning ceiling-height Japanese kimono covered in blood-red replicas of the 1942 U.S. order mandating that all persons of Japanese ancestry report to internment camps. We're incredibly impressed with Haley's artwork and with the powerful statement that it makes about both historical and contemporary issues of racial profiling. Congratulations, Haley. Has the challenge of determining which student we should award with the Joanne Eastley Arnold Outstanding Senior Award, an award named in honor of a professor emerita in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Colorado Boulder for her long-term support of women and gender studies. Joanne passed away several years ago. This award is indeed a very special one. It is given to a graduating student to recognize them for outstanding leadership and service to women and gender studies. It is to be awarded to someone that the faculty and staff have admired for their commitment to the program, and for whom there has not been any formal recognition through a scholarship or other award nomination. This year's awardee truly exemplifies inclusive, conscientious, and intersectional feminist leadership. As our students know, leadership takes many forms beyond traditional and hegemonic models. While traditional models may look for the loud, booming voices dominating the masses, other models are quieter and more subtle, leading more by example and by service. For several years, this year's awardee has been part of a small group of students dedicated to confronting gender and sexual discrimination on our campus and in our country. This is a passionate group, and the awardee has played a pivotal role in making the Gender Justice League both a vanguard of activism and a much-needed space of mutual support. Again and again, she exhibited poise and compassion as a leader, listening empathetically to the views of other members and to find shared goals and commitments. Equally impressive, she provided this leadership in an understated way, while never diluting her own principles or beliefs. Beyond Gender Justice League, she is also a leader on campus and bringing a critical feminist perspective to environmental issues, including outdoor sports. Our Outstanding Senior Award goes to Karina Hillman. patiently awaiting, and some of you have been not so patiently awaiting, the presentation of our graduates. If you are following along in your program, you will notice that there are some names that we will not read off. Some of our graduates are participating in other graduations with conflicting times and are unable to attend. So we'll begin first with our graduate certificates. The Graduate Certificate in Women and Gender Studies is designed as a complement to a graduate disciplinary program. It provides graduate students with the opportunity to think in an interdisciplinary fashion about women and gender, and to learn from a variety of scholarly and methodological approaches. Students in this program come from a wide array of disciplines, including, but not limited to, dance, theater, sociology, political science, communication, media studies, environmental studies, philosophy, and religious studies. Please come up to the stage as I read your name. Presenting the students with their graduate certificate is Professor of Distinction, Allison Jagger. First we have Jasmine Bates. Jasmine is graduating with a Master's of Fine Arts in Ceramics and a Graduate Certificate in Women and Gender Studies, having completed her thesis entitled Clay and Precarity. She notes that her work within Women and Gender Studies has helped her to dissect and reconstitute her own art practice. Congratulations, Jasmine. Next we have Allison L. Glover. Allison has completed the Graduate Certificate in Women and Gender Studies and a PhD in Latin American Literature in the Department of Spanish and Portuguese, with her dissertation, Mediating the Intersections, Feminisms, Queer Theories, and Testimonial Literary Production About Women in Central America, 1977 to 1987. Congratulations, Allison. I also would like to say that the Women and Gender Studies department gave her the theoretical and analytical tools she needed to finish writing her dissertation. She's grateful to the cottage and to everyone housed in it for teaching her how to effectively engage in dialogue about very difficult topics. The program transformed my scholarship and my mission in the classroom, she says, and she wants to give a special thank you to Dr. Celeste Montoya and Dr. Robert Buffington for serving on her dissertation committee. Thank you also to her professors, Dr. Celeste Montoya, D.P. Bisri, Allison Jagger, Emmanuel David, Robert Wyrod, and Dr. Arturo Dama in the Ethnic Studies Department. Congratulations, Allison. And finally, we have Marilyn Mena. In sociocultural anthropology with her dissertation, Women Detained, Justice and Institutional Violence in São Paulo's Criminal Justice System, which was awarded the best dissertation in the social sciences by the Brazil section of the Latin American Studies Association. She notes that the Graduate Certificate in Women and Gender Studies was a major contribution to her scholarship and ethnographic fieldwork, especially Dr. Misri's courses, which provided her with the theoretical and practical tools to carry out her research. Dr. Bayer DeVolo's guidance and support, and for emphasizing that the emotions you experience during fieldwork and post-fieldwork are all part of the process. Congratulations, Marilyn. And now we move to our undergraduates. Again, as I read your names, please come up these stairs on my right to receive your certificates and exit on the far side. As each student is crossing the stage, will the next student please approach at the base of the stairs. For each student, I'll be reading a brief statement that they have written. Presenting the certificates for our minors is Professor Robert Buffington. To earn a Women and Gender Studies minor, you must take a minimum of 21 hours of Women and Gender Studies classes. As our students will attest, these are not easy classes. They challenge students to think critically, locally as well as globally, and across intersections of race, ethnicity, class, and sexuality. Our first minor is Rebekah Brown. Mesa, moving to end sexual assault. She would like to thank her family for coming all the way to Colorado on this snowy day. Wrote this in advance, no prescient. Okay. Next, we have Channing Win Ayanati. A minor in Women and Gender Studies, and a certificate in LGBTQ Studies. They serve as the Vice President of New Membership Education for Theta Pi Sigma, and were a member of the Gender Justice League. Shannon would like to thank their dog, their mother for getting them their dog, and all the dogs on campus for being there when they couldn't see their dog. Brianna Holloway McCullough. A Bachelor of Music degree in Music Performance and a minor in Women and Gender Studies. She received a full ride to CU Boulder and participated in benefit events. Brianna will be attending graduate school at the Jacobs School of Music at Indiana University. She would like to especially thank Erica Eckert and the Center for Native American and Indigenous Studies. Congratulations, Brianna. We have Meredith Nass. Meredith has earned a bachelor's degree in Ethics Studies, a minor in Women and Gender Studies, and a certificate in Leadership from Invest. She was nominated Valedictorian for Ethics Studies and has been on the Dean's List all 4 years. She plans to pursue a master's in education in a combined program with ethnic studies at CU Boulder and hopes to continue working for justice wherever she finds herself. She would like to thank all of her professors, mentors, friends, and family for their love and endless support. Congratulations. And finally, we have Madeline Ruth Seltzer. Literature and a minor in Women and Gender Studies. Her fiction, creative nonfiction, and poetry have been widely published. She worked as the Gender and Ethnic Studies editor for the CU Honors Journal and as an intern for Senator Brittany Peterson. She is the recipient of several scholarships, including the Rising Star Award given by the Colorado Community College System. She would like to thank her family and Front Range Community College for getting her here today, and her mentors, Mary Ann Grimm, Caitlin Keenan, and Sarah Shantz for believing in her and her capabilities. She would like to thank WGST staff Elisa Durchette and Valerie Bott for bringing her into the cottage and providing a safe space for her on campus. She's forever thankful for her family, for her mom and dad for endlessly supporting her, and for her partner, Robin, who has always been kind and by her side. Congratulations. And now for our majors, and I'll ask that our majors line up. To earn a major in Women and Gender Studies, students must complete a minimum of 36 credit hours. Our majors take several required classes, including feminist theories and senior colloquium. Both challenging classes, although in very different ways. The colloquium in particular is a rite of passage. This year the theme was the challenge of solidarity, something the students put into practice in their class projects. One group focused on the issue of prison labor and the University of Colorado's procurement contract with Colorado Promotional Industries. They focused on coalition building and raising public awareness in some preliminary but important steps toward divestment. They reached out to the staff to share information about alternative options and hosted a presentation with Women and Gender Studies alumna and current Ethnic Studies PhD candidate Cassie Gonzalez. Another group focused on the disparate impact of campus policies for those experiencing homelessness and the issue of food insecurity. They held a successful pop-up pantry in the cottage, moving a lot of food even when the spring rain turned to snow. A third group focused on learning more about the history of Los Seis de Boulder. They conscientiously worked on educating their own group first, and then later hosted a screening of the documentary Symbols of Resistance, a tribute to the martyrs of the Chicano movement, to help raise awareness. They also volunteered their time and labor to an art activist project to honor the history of the Chicano activists killed in the 1970s. Altogether, these projects showed the range and intersectional nature of our students' interests in social justice. Seniors, we are so proud of you. Presenting the undergraduate major degrees in Women Gender Studies is Professor Celeste Murphy. Celeste is the most popular. Okay, first we have Hannah Kate Spurnick. In Women and Gender Studies and in Economics, with an emphasis in public policy, as well as a minor in political science. She is a member of the Delta 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 sorority. She would like to thank her parents for always prioritizing her education, her sister Lucy for keeping it real with her, and her roommates Jamie and Maddie for getting her through senior year. Congratulations, Hannah. Caitlin has earned a degree in Women and Gender Studies with a minor in Media Studies. She would like to thank her family and friends for always supporting her, as well as encouraging her to follow her dreams. Caitlin would like to thank her family, most importantly, for continually telling her that life isn't about waiting for the storm to pass. It is about learning to dance in the rain. Congratulations, Caitlin. Paul is graduating today with dual degrees in both political science and women and gender studies. After graduation, he will be attending law school. Congratulations. Ethnic Studies and Women and Gender Studies, as well as a minor in Business and the Global Gender and Sexuality Studies certificate. Ooh. She's a member of Trayvon Honor Society. In the fall of 16, she will be attending Columbia University in the fall to complete a master's in advanced clinical social work. Julia would like to thank her family and friends for their unconditional support and thank the Department of Women and Gender Studies for providing a positive learning environment. Congratulations, Julia. Lauren Gildenbane. A bachelor's degree in Women and Gender Studies with minors in both sociology and ethnic studies and the certificate in global gender and sexuality studies. After graduation, she plans to heal and pursue a graduate or law degree in California. She would like to thank her family, friends, and the amazing professors in the Women and Gender Studies, Ethnic Studies, and Sociology departments that have facilitated her learning and have allowed her to grow into the woman she is today. Congratulations. Mallory is graduating with degrees in Women and Gender Studies and International Affairs, summa cum laude, with minors in political science and Arabic. Mallory is a 2018 recipient of the Jacob Van Eck Award and has recently been given the Chancellor's Recognition Award for earning all A's throughout their college career. They will be attending law school at the University of California, Berkeley as a Henderson Scholar within the Thelton E. Henderson School Center for Social Justice. They would like to thank Shoshana Pollock, their parents, and their cat for endless emotional support, as well as the entire WGST department, especially Dr. Wyrot and Dr. Misri. Congratulations. She is a member of the Gender Justice League, an officer of the Hiking Club, and the leader of Bosque for Reproductive Rights, the Planned Parenthood Generation Action Student Group. After graduation, she will be working as a co-conspirator for Terra Incognita Media, a nonprofit media company working to decolonize the outdoor industry. She would like to thank Gender Justice League, Dr. Wyrod, and the Women and Gender Studies faculty for redefining social responsibility both within and outside of the university. She would also like to thank her family and partner for their support. Congratulations. And 3.47 cumulative GPA. After graduation, she will be working as a child visitation facilitator in Jefferson County, Colorado. She would like to thank her amazing family for supporting her in her dreams throughout her life and college career. She says she couldn't have done it without the help of her mom, dad, John, Megan, and Chris. She loves you and thanks you for all that you have done for her. Unfortunately, this student couldn't be here today, but we also want to acknowledge Emma Mauser. Emma is graduating with a degree in Women and Gender Studies as well as a Spanish minor. Now, joining us on stage to present the next student's degree is their mother, and also a CU Boulder Assistant Vice Provost, Quentin McAndrew. Casey Elizabeth McAndrew. And after graduation, she plans to change the world. Yeah! She'd like to thank her family, friends, her many therapists, and all the badass women and non-binary folks who inspire her every day. Hayden Elise Morano. In both psychology and women and gender studies. She worked as a research assistant in the Cognitive Development Center here at CU Boulder. After graduation, she plans to pursue a master's degree in criminal psychology. She hopes to use what she has learned in her women and gender studies courses and apply this to future education and any career opportunities to create more inclusive environments and view the world through a critical intersectional lens. She would like to thank her friends and family for supporting her constant change of plans and constant lateness. She especially wants to thank her parents for their unwavering love and support regardless of what she does, her wife for life, Ellen Kate, and Dr. Harper for giving her endless opportunities. Congratulations. Britt Knuckles. With bachelor's degrees in political science and women and gender studies. They are a member of Phi Beta Kappa and Pi Sigma Alpha. Britt is the recipient of the Jeffrey D. Stevens Memorial Scholarship in Arts and Sciences, the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer Alumni Scholarship, the Lucille Berkeley Buchanan Scholarship, and the Positive Futures Scholarship. They will be attending law school in the fall at American University in D.C. Britt would especially like to thank their partner, Sarah Kalik, their father, Steve, and his partner, Iva. Congratulations, Britt. Sylvia Marie Peckham. Bachelor's degree in Women and Gender Studies with a minor in Hindu and Urdu. Sylvia is a United States Navy veteran. Has made the Arts and Sciences Dean's List and is involved in the Theater and Dance Department as a playwright, director, assistant dramaturg, crew, and performer. She plans to pursue a master's in theater and a graduate certificate in women and gender studies. She would like to thank the Women and Gender Studies faculty and staff for all of their understanding, compassion, and support. Congratulations, Sylvia. Jeanny Marion Ramji. Double major in Women and Gender Studies and Communication. She is the two-time recipient of the Tyler J. Stevenson Memorial Scholarship a recipient of the Academic Leadership Award in the College of Media, Communication, and Information, and the founder of Ability Alliance, a club for students with disabilities. She would like to thank her mother, father, brothers, friends, and the classmates and teachers who have made her education about so much more than a degree. Congratulations to Jeanny. Although they couldn't be here with us today, we do want to acknowledge Susanna Ranzo. Susanna is graduating with bachelor's degrees in Women and Gender Studies, Sociology, and Political Science. Jackson Milo Reinagel. Jackson is graduating with a degree in Women and Gender Studies, with certificates in LGBTQ Studies and Peace and Conflict Studies. Jackson is a Van X Scholar and the founder of Theta Pi Sigma's Zeta chapter. He plans to continue his activism at CU while earning a master's degree in media and public engagement. He would especially like to thank the incredible staff and faculty that make this department a home on campus. Congratulations, Jackson. Megan Sass. Megan is graduating today with a Bachelor of Arts degree in Women and Gender Studies. While at CU, she has been recognized on the Arts and Sciences Dean's List every semester. And she has worked with the Brazen Project, advocating for abortion access and fighting stigma on campus. She plans to continue to cultivate a commitment to justice after graduation and would like to thank her family, blood relatives, and beyond for their unfaltering love and support. She says she simply could not have done it all without you. Congratulations. Effie Shannon. Effie is a Women and Gender Studies major and a sociology minor. She is a member of the Gender Justice League and enjoys gardening in her free time. She plans on going to grad school for criminology so she can advocate for incarcerated people. She would like to thank her parents, Mark and Susan, and her cat, Lucifer. Alexa Sweet. Alexa has completed a double major in Women and Gender Studies and Psychology with a minor in education. Her plans include joining Teach for America, as she would like to be an elementary teacher in order to help and inspire kids and make a difference in the education system. She wants to use the knowledge gained from Women and Gender Studies to create a more inclusive and welcoming classroom environment. She would like to thank her friends and family, especially her mom and grandma, for supporting her with everything she has done up until now. She is excited for what is to come. Congratulations, Alexa. And finally, we have Alex Tyson. Alex is graduating with degrees in psychology and women and gender studies, as well as the certificate in LGBTQ studies. Alex has also been very helpful to the department, working with us as a student employee for the past 2 years. After graduation, she plans to become a therapist for LGBT families. Alex would like to thank Jade, Ash, her family, and her cats. One more round of applause for our truly exceptional. Snapchat us. At last, we have come to the end of our ceremony, but first I would like to give a very special thank you to our student employees and volunteers and our spectacular administrative staff, Valerie Bott and Alicia Burchett. Please do make sure to thank them in person at our reception upstairs in the Heritage Center after the ceremony. Now, for the moving of the tassels, I would like to invite all of the graduates to please stand if you're able. And now, together as a class, as those who have come before you and hopefully as the many who will follow, you become graduates of the Department of Women and Gender Studies. You may now move your rainbow tassels from right to left. As well as their friends and family present today. Go forth and change the world, graduates. We expect nothing less from you. We hope that you will all join us for a catered reception upstairs at the Heritage Center, which can be reached by 2 sets of stairs or by an elevator. Students, after our faculty recess, please lead the procession as a class up to the 3rd floor where we can all celebrate your achievements. Thank you all for coming today. Thank you.